Hi there, Jen from Woodward Blooms. Today we're going to create the super cute wood flower standing bunny. So you will need your greenery, your flowers, glue gun, glue stick, of course. If you haven't already, make sure you turn yours on. You're going to have some burlap, some fillers, more greenery and flowers, and of course your wires as well. So the very first thing we're going to do is put all of that aside and actually start with your bunny. So these are painted white to begin. You can choose to paint yours a different color before you begin. So if you want a pink bunny or a blue bunny, or you want a decoupage or put a pattern on it, absolutely do that before you begin the next steps. If you're keeping your bunny as it is, or you've already painted yours, our next step is actually going to be to take your Sharpie and create your design around the border. And this can be done any way you want. You could do a line, a dot. I actually did my pattern with dot, dash, dot, dot, dash, and kind of just like alternated the number of dots in between to give it a little variation. So I'm going to show you how to create that. It's super easy. If you really mess up, you can always paint over it and start again. So you're going to pick a spot to begin on your bunny, and you're just going to begin, and I'm going to do this with just one nice dot right here in the corner, and then I'm going to do a little line. I'm going to do 2 dots, and I'm going to do another little line, and then I'm going to do 3 dots. Again, this is just how I did mine. You can choose any pattern at all that you want. You can even skip making a border. I love the cartoonish effect that it sort of brings. And then I'm going to go right back. Single dot and my line. Double dot and my line. 3 dots and my line. And so you're going to see, this takes us like a little bit of time, and you want to take your time on it because you don't necessarily want to rush through this. So I'm going to fast forward this part now so you don't have to watch in real time. So I've created my border on my body. So now we're going to work on the feet. And you can do the same exact thing as far as the border goes on your feet, and you're just going to go around. Once you've got this, then you can test it out and just see how cute your bunny looks. And if you want to fix anything, we're going to put our feet aside and we're going to work on the next part of our bunny. We are going to take our burlap and we are going to create our pocket on our bunny. And you can decide how big you want your pocket to be. All the way across is probably a bit too much. So I'm actually going to trim my burlap down and make it a little smaller. And then I'm also thinking of doing a little fold over like this. So I'm going to create a little fold over on the top of mine. You don't have to do that by any means, just an option of something if you want to add a little detail. You could always just trim it down as well. Cut off any excess. Okay, so this is going to get glued onto our bunny, but first we're going to create a little side enclosure. So we're just going to glue down the side. Hold it down there. I'm going to come in and do the same thing on the other side. Just a little bead of hot glue. And press it down. Now we've got this nice little pocket. And we are going to add in some foam and some other stuff inside. To add a little piece of foam, if yours is too big, and it's not even really necessary, but it's a good little bit, just add that inside and put your moss right on top, just to give it that rustic feel. And then this is going to go right onto our bunny. So we just got to figure out where you want to put this, and then we are going to hot glue it right down on there. So you're going to create a nice bit of hot glue across the back and a little bit up the sides. And you can always add more on after as well. Hold that down for a second to make sure it is really locked in place. And then if you want to add some more on the sides or anything like that, you can do that. Now that we're here, if you like to kind of leave yours popping up, that's fine also. All right, so once it's in, then you can kind of play around with your moss if you want it to show a little bit more. We are going to do our greenery. So you're going to have this nice ruscus that you're going to kind of pull gently up into one bunch. That's just going to go right in there. You can also separate it and cut it into a second bunch as well if you want to trim right there. I just like using the one and then spreading it out as I go. So you don't need a ton of this. I have the tiniest little clippers here today. There we go. Don't know where that went flying. And we're going to work this right in. I'm going to hit the foam at the bottom, and then we can sort of spread that out however we want to. Next up, we are going to take our flowers. I'm going to put them aside for a second here. And with our little guys, we're just going to stem them. They may come with a little extra on the end, so you can cut that off. And then we're going to take our wire stems. They may need trimming, but you're going to do just a dab of hot glue, a little twist and a push there. Definitely a longer stem that we're going to need. I can probably get away with 2 out of this one even. So I'm just going to fast forward through this section so you don't have to watch me stemming all the flowers. And then we'll arrange. These guys, I even like to tilt them forward a little bit, like that. So now we're going to arrange. And I like to do them a little bit opposite. Once we've got that in, we're going to take some of our fun ruscus. Now it may be too long like this, so you can even pull off some pieces, trim it down, and you can go in with individual pieces. Sneak it between the different pieces of greenery. Back here. It's easier, you can even pull out a flower and go back in afterwards. And then I even sometimes like to trim mine apart into smaller pieces. And add a little glue and come in at different little spots and just secure them. Give it that like three-dimensional effect. Then we get to start playing around with our different fillers. So I have got some dried lavender. I've got some faux baby's breath here. So these are good to cut apart as much as you need to. You can even take off the little pieces down here. Like if this won't be seen, you can pop that off. Ooh, pop the whole thing off. And you can even glue that onto something else as well. If it's not going to reach where you want it to go, add a dab of hot glue in as well. And these little ones, you can honestly just stick on a little stem. Go right into any little section you want. You can even just add a little hot glue right to one and pop it between a leaf if you like. And then we're going to come in with our dried lavender, which will go right into the floral foam. So you can really add a dab of hot glue. If it doesn't reach, you can just nestle it if you want. Bunnies aren't going to really be upside down, so they don't necessarily need the hot glue. Go with different size pieces. Ooh. Little flower doesn't want to stay the way I want. All right. A little piece in the front. I just like the smell the fresh lavender brings, but you can also grab any other herbs or flowers that you've dried that you have around to add a touch to this. You can add something fresh that will dry out in here as well. Fresh baby's breath is great for that. Just add one more piece right in here. And there you have this cute little thing. So now the last thing I'm thinking of doing is just adding some accents. So I've cut a little piece of this ribbon so I can add a little accent here. And I'm just honestly going to add a little dab of hot glue here. A little one there, maybe a tiny bit in the middle, not too much. It's pretty light, so it'll stick on. A little bit long. Sneak it underneath or trim it just a little bit there. Helps to have much sharper scissors than I have. So once you've got that on, then we can go in and create a little bow for our bunny as well. So I'm just going to use this fun ribbon right here. I don't want it to be a very big bow, so I'm going to cut 3 little pieces here, trim, trim. Okay, on the edges of these, I'm going to cut a little triangle just to give it that little extra dimension. You could fray the ends, you could leave them as is, whatever you like to do. And then I think I'm gonna also add even a little bit of this as well. So we've got this fun ribbon. I want to keep it about the same size. So, let's see here. I'm actually going to cut this in half because that other ribbon is so thin. And we're going to do the same thing on the ends with a little trim. You could also just do one diagonal cut as well. Looks like I'm going to cut my fingers right off when I do this. All right, there we go. So now I'm just going to pile these on top of each other and sort of create like a little diagonal effect here. So you can see I sort of did like this. And I'm going to take a little piece of the twine that I have. We're going to put this right underneath for now. Just tie a little knot. You can make your bows however you want to. There is no right way, wrong way, whatever you want to do. Just kind of have fun with it. Go as tight as we can on this little guy. Just to create that like little kind of fun effect here. And knot it off. I don't even really, actually kind of like the side with that more. I don't know. Fluff it, zhuzh it, however you want to do it. I think I like this side. I might even leave a little bit right there. And we're just going to trim it down. I do like that side better, but I feel like this is more meant to go over here. There we go. All right, and so then our little bow can just go right in the corner or wherever you want it. Totally up to you. Just to add that little bitty accent. I might even like to do just a tiny bit of ribbon right around there. I think I like that. That's cute. And then we're just going to add a little dab. Now you can do this with hot glue. You can also do twine around this and kind of loop it around the ear if you want. You can add the bow, not add the bow. Totally up to you. However you'd like to do it. I'm admittedly the worst bow maker. It is not my area of expertise. And then once we get this in, then we've got our full bunny, just like this. Voila.